Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Game Ball Podcast stream. I'm your host, Mark, and we're with the News Hour for this July 21st, if you're listening to this on the podcast or YouTube. I say it's every week. It's the end of July. It finally got here. I am about a day away from my vacation, heading to the Great White North in Toronto, and then to Pittsburgh for the final non-college softball tournament for my niece. So I'll be away for a full week. Tonight, Tom will be joining you with our Retro Roulette Book Club game, so be sure to check that out. But I will not be streaming after this until Monday the 28th when I come back with Mega Man. Me being delayed, starting this for those of you watching live video for podcasts and YouTube, it doesn't matter. I was delayed an hour, so that cut into my possibly streaming Death Stranding this evening. So, and since it is an hour later, Game Ball Cat is annoying me down here. Because normally I'm getting ready to go to bed. So anyway, we'll start off with what I've been playing. The main thing I've been watching, we're about 37 hours in to Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Still enjoying it. I know Gocho's up all the time. So I still worry about, because I'm playing it the way I would play it. So I am taking like hour detours to build roads and monorails and stuff like that. And that is so many hours, and they're all on the internet. I'm assuming about halfway through the story, I think. Starting to get to some things that might be twist as we get a little bit deeper into the story. I will say this. I say it on Podcast Prime, which was recorded before this. So you might be hearing some of the same things depending on the order you listen to them in. The story, whether we can make an argument whether it's good or bad. I think it's fine. It's a Kojima story. It's a lot of craziness. Some things you got to just go okay and just accept with it. But what I will say about the story is that, for as crazy as it is, the root of it is much more solid than Death Stranding 1's was. I can't for the life of you tell you what I think the Nugget was trying to reconnect with people or something like that in the first one. I don't know what the Nugget is, but the Nugget of this one is, essentially loss, and what that feels like. Because every single character in this game, without spoiling what happens to them, has some kind of loss involved with them. When I do the spoiler cast, I can break it down for you. But every single character we met so far has some loss with him. And even the two that we haven't technically met yet, that you've seen in trailers and stuff, also have that. So it's just the way of dealing with grief and going through all that, and essentially that is what they're doing with the story here, and I think that hits a lot harder than whatever they're doing in Death Stranding 1. Combat still sucks in terms of when you fight BTs. Combat against humans, sorry about that, my cat just knocked down my fan. Against humans is great. The bolo gun is my favorite gun in the game. Doesn't work against mechs, obviously, but or any kind of vehicles or anything. But against human ones, it's great. I do have these gloves now that basically shock you when you get punched, and yeah, it's just fun. But against the BTs, it's just annoying because you can't prepare for anything, and sometimes the worst thing they do is there's this one delivery where it's timed, where you got to go through a giant BT area, and to go through a BT area, you're supposed to go slow, avoid the things, or kill them before they see you. But when you have a ticking clock, it makes it that much more impossible because the BTs show up basically out of nowhere in places, and you gotta like crouch walk. So it. I just got a vehicle and just drove through it and made it almost all the way through before I got into a mini fight. But I have no idea what Kojima's looking for there in that, and it's the one thing that annoys me. But anyway, I love all the quality of life changes. I love that if you don't want to do a lot of the walking, all the new stuff is great. The monorail is a great add. I wish you could just skip the thing, but I guess they want a punishment. Not a punishment, but like they don't want you using it as fast travel because they have a fast travel system that sort of it's a risk reward for using it. So they don't want the monorail to work as a fast travel essentially. The zip line works the same way that it did in the other game, except now there are points on the monorail that you can zip line to, so it makes it better lining up different angles and stuff like that. And yeah, they had a bunch of new things. They have hot springs now that you can create anywhere. And yeah, it just a lot of good quality of life stuff. So I'm still enjoying it. We're probably going to start pushing more main story stuff. The road stuff's great, but it's becoming a lot of back and forth, and I'm at the point where I'm almost done it, so they're making the things really hard to get. And I think I got to open up a few more people to, help me get what I need. I have mines that give me ceramics and metal, so as long as I get Kyrian crystals, I don't have to do all that, but getting the crystals is tough. It's just, they don't make it easy. So, but yeah, so I've been playing that. Unfortunately, have been unable to touch NCAA this week between work kicking my ass, having a lot of podcasts to record. We had D&D this week. I worked most of the day today when I wasn't streaming, cleaning my apartment before I go on vacation, just so I don't have to do it when I come back. Tomorrow is cleaning out the car and getting it ready to drive to Toronto. So not a lot of just sit-down time to play NCAA. The few hours I have gotten, because I know the games are shorter, is I played some more NHL 25. Still kicking that around. I just want to see how this season ends, essentially. Having still a lot of fun with it. And playing through that. And the only other thing, played Mega Man. I'm just going to repeat what I think I said on Podcast Prime. Not word for word, but sort of the same thing with it. I feel like Mega Man 1 is very much an old school arcade game. I think it was, possibly. I haven't looked deep into the history to make sure of that fact, but it feels like it. So there's a lot of times where it's very hard to do a no-hit run, and it almost feels like you're supposed to get hit. So a lot of damage boosting and stuff like that to get by places. The shooting is touch and go. The platforming's not great. You can see why 2 was so much better and more well received. This does all the great things that 2 does, and a lot of really terrible things. With that said, we're 4.5 Robot Masters in. So we should be closing that part of it out, and then I got to do the Wily part. So we probably got another 2 to 3 streams with that before I'm moving on to Mega Man 2. But yeah, it's Mega Man. It's trial and error when you first go into a stage if you've never seen it before, sort of knowing where it is. And then after dying a few times, you just, you get to learn the patterns and all that. The only thing that's bothering me is there's this one jumping puzzle I'm doing now where it feels random. It's probably on. It's definitely on a pattern, but it's like such a long pattern that I can't really figure out what it is yet. So we're going through that. But I'm excited to put this one as a check mark that I beat it before we move on to 2. So look out for that. Yeah, that's all. That's all I've been playing that I can think of. I'm going to take my Switch with me to Toronto. So I may have some Switch 1 games to report on. So, yeah. Yeah, so without further ado, let's go on to the news. First up, we have the announcement that they finally cast the live-action Zelda movie. Nintendo confirmed. And Zelda will be played by Bo Bragason, I believe is how you would say that. And Link will be played by Benjamin Evan Ainsworth. Younger actors, they've been in some things I've seen. I don't know them offhand, but it looks like they're definitely going for a younger vibe with this look here than like more closer to your Ocarina or, you know, even Link to the Past a little bit, instead of more of the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom Zelda and Link. Casting some younger unknown actors that can sort of grow in the role if you're going to be doing sequels is definitely a good choice. Seeing what they're sort of going for makes me less upset that they an older, like mid to late 20s, you know, Breath of the Wild-esque Zelda. You know, good choice for that is obviously, you've probably seen the photos online, Hunter Schafer. She looks almost just like Zelda in those 2 games. But Bo here definitely has more of the features of the younger Zelda. So I can see where they were going for with that. They both nail sort of the look when you think of Zelda. You know, and just if you added the elf ears, they would fit right in terms of a Hyrulean, you know, elf look, you know, which is a lot different than, you know, Lord of the Rings elf look, which is why someone like Liv Tyler looks good as an elf in Lord of the Rings and probably wouldn't look good in a Zelda. That's just my opinion from playing a whole lot of Zelda. But yeah, so those were the choices. This was the biggest story I could find this week on here, at least for me personally. There are probably other things for others, but yeah, I'm looking forward to see what they do with this. Obviously, Zelda is one of the only games they have that would look good as a live-action movie, because most of the characters are fairly humanoid. You know, the proportions of Mario characters would look weird live action. You know, so I'm just glad that they did this. We'll get back to have a Nintendo section later with 2 more stories. But the other thing I saw, Valve finally pulls adult-only games from Steam as it needs to appease. Let me pause this video for those of you watching the... Sorry for that loud sound. Yeah, I don't even know if that came through because I have the background noise. So, yeah, so payment partners, sort of like what happened to one website that's escaping me. Had a similar thing where they had a lot of adult-only content on there, and people would they'd stop taking payments from those websites, from that website, until they removed the adult-only stuff. You know, it's kind of like what OnlyFans tried to do and all that. But Valve, in a different thing, you know, probably needs to appease those people more than like a social website. So they have a new added clause to their policy that says content that may violate the rules and standards set forth by Steam's payment processors and related card networks and banks or internet network providers shouldn't be posted on Steam. So yeah, so we're probably looking like Visa and all those people, MasterCard, any of the ACH clearinghouses and stuff like that. Are probably the reason behind this. So we'll see. A bunch of them, if they're legitimate and not just wanting to be there to make money, will probably go to itch or something like that if they're not already on there, to sort of to stay published. But yeah, it's always weird that Valve had so many blatant adult-only games on there. Which is really easy unless if you put a lot of parental locks on your system for them not to see. So yeah, so your AO content, you will have to go somewhere else. And then two stories that sort of mix into what we were talking about on in Game Vault Podcast Prime. Rockstar's still backing some parts of GTA 5 and GTA Online. Is now in Saudi Arabia and the UAE with a year left till GTA 6. I feel this is very much like they finally got, I believe it was an age thing. Yeah, because of regulations over sex, drug use and all that stuff. They finally got past that. But also, it's probably timely in that they want to, if they can also use the same method to get 6 in there, it's a way to get people into the ecosystem and then sell them 6 at full price. So, yeah, if you are listening to the podcast and you're in the UAE or Saudi Arabia, welcome. But you now can play GTA 5, a game that came out 12 years ago. But, yeah, so, yeah, this is just looking like preparing for GTA 6 to try to get it in as many new markets as possible. Next up, Roblox. We talk about Roblox a bunch as part of one of our topics. But they are now adding a new safety feature to include an AI that will guess your age based on a video selfie. It's another reason I think it's the worst thing to happen to gaming, Roblox. Roblox has announced a new range of safety features directed specifically at teenagers 13 to 17, including a new age estimation technology that uses AI to guess a user's age based on a video selfie they submit. Teens will be able to designate trusted connections on Roblox with whom, a bunch of this stuff is for teenagers, with whom they will be able to chat on the platform with. The goal is to better monitor conversations teens are having on Roblox rather than having them lured to third-party platforms where unmonitored conversations can become inappropriate. They will still get lured there. If there's one thing predators will do, they will find a way. I applaud them for doing that, but they have to say this, but I take it back that this will prevent everything. Trusted connections are intended to be set between users who know each other well, and if a teen intends to set someone 18 plus as a trusted connection, they can only do so using a QR scanner code or a contact importer. In the past, Roblox has relied on the submission of a government ID, verifying users are 13 plus or 18 plus to unlock certain platform chat features. However, it is now implementing an alternative verification method. Individuals can submit a video selfie to Roblox, and an AI will determine if they are 13 plus. So there a bunch of crazy shit happened and really bad shit that I'm not going to dive into there as to why they're doing this. But yeah, essentially, it's about time they're to crack down a little bit. I don't like the use of AI. I don't think it's going to help at all. But the trusted connection thing is probably the positive thing to come out of this. So, yeah, we have more Roblox conversation and why it's the devil on the podcast. To our Nintendo section. Nintendo confirms public demo for its secretive Switch 2 exclusive Drag Cross Drive, but you'll need a Switch Online subscription to play. On August 9th and 10th, there will be a global jam, but you will need to have online to do it. This is the wheelchair basketball game, so we'll finally get to see how this game actually plays, if it's real, or not. And yeah, I'm excited to see if this is any good or if it's just boring. Nintendo's 50-50 with stuff like that. And again, they have a character named Mark that gets like dunked on all the time, and it's one of the reasons I have a vendetta against this game. Joking, obviously. I would get dunked on if I played basketball, wheelchair or not. So, it's very truthful in its casting. Yeah. And the other Nintendo news, Nintendo confirms the return of Mysterious Switch Online playtest program, now compatible with Switch 2. The Mysterious Nintendo Switch Online playtest program will once again take place later this month, now compatible with Switch 2. Nintendo has said that their playtest will be another outing for the same service it previously shared with a select few fans in October 2024. Then, of course, just on the original Switch. While applications to participate are open to all Nintendo Switch Online plus Expansion Pass subscribers, numbers will be limited to just 40,000 players globally. And the test contents are once again designed to be kept secret, though of course details will come out. So the applications probably have already need to be submitted by today. So try and get them in today. Unless you're listening live, then go as soon as possible. You can start doing it today to the 23rd. Misread that. And then the playtest itself will be from the 29th to August 11th. So, and you got to be over 18 to play it. Nintendo says, we request that you do not discuss or disclose content from either the Nintendo Switch Online playtest program, test software, or website with others. If you participate as a group, you may communicate and exchange information as long as it remains within the bounds of the group. So, yeah, we'll find out soon parts of this, because some people will leak it. Yeah, so next up, I am a big fan of Civilization 6. I went and got this when I found out about it. The Platinum Edition is free on Epic, and it gives you DLC and all that with it. I think it has all the expansions. So I got it, and I'm going to restart my playthrough on 6. And yeah. It's got everything here, which, as long as it has Canada, I'll play it. Because there's nothing better than a hockey arena being the main thing to build. Yeah. So, this is just a PSA. Civilization 6 fucking rules. And now you can get all DLC, so you don't have to play the terrible base game. You'll have all the good stuff. Alright. Next up is our 2 Microsoft stories. Once again, we have to mention Microsoft's still part of the BDS boycott. So if you are doing that, you can feel free to, not care about what's going on here. But, I do want to report some things when it does happen, because there are some newsworthy things, even though the boycott is going on. So first off, Microsoft abruptly pulls plug on its movie and TV store for Xbox and Windows. Without any prior warning, Microsoft has today removed the ability to buy movies and TV content on Xbox consoles and Windows devices. The surprise move was first spotted as Microsoft published a Q&A detailing the changes. Previous purchase film and TV content can still be viewed, and you can use your Xbox to play media you own, such as DVDs and all. But film and TV fans will no longer add their digital libraries. Won't be able to move content to other services, and no refund should you want to rebuild your library elsewhere. So yeah. The Xbox and Microsoft Store on Windows have entertainment services that offer the latest home and entertainment releases. The following transactional services are available today: Amazon Prime, Apple TV, and Fandango at Home, among others. Just basically pointing to streaming services instead of purchasing. So another shitty thing that Microsoft's doing. Probably because they lost money on the Activision deal and are trying to make cuts everywhere. So I guess it's too much to keep the server, the payment side up for this. So anyway, speaking of the thing that might actually be causing an issue, Game Pass has their Wave 2 stuff here. So coming up, you can already get High on Life, RoboCop Rogue City, which I actually heard was pretty decent, My Friendly Neighbor, Back to Dawn, Abiotic Factor, I believe that is, Wheel World, Wu Chang, Fallen Feathers, Grounded 2, and Farming Simulator 25. So the games leaving Game Pass is Gigantic, Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess, which I probably will never get a chance to check out now, and Turnip Boy Robs a Bank. So if you're still using Game Pass and have not canceled your subscription because of the BDS boycott, those are the things to look forward to there. And that'll do it. Short one today. I'm on kind of vacation mode, but there wasn't much to talk about in the news, and I haven't really been able to play much because I've been really busy. I have a whole podcast Prime where we do a lot of talking that you can listen to this week when it comes out. So thank you guys for joining me. Let me go back to Big Mark here. Like I said, I will not be streaming tonight. Tom will be streaming our month-long book club game, Retro Roulette book club game. And then he will probably play Thursday, Final Fantasy VI. Not sure. He might wait for me to come back. But I will not be streaming anything until next Monday, the 28th. We'll be continuing Mega Man, so be on the lookout for that. I will open, and I'm starting a new policy with that Mega Man stream. We're going to open with like 10-15 minutes of just chatting, and I'll share all about my Toronto and Pittsburgh trips as one of the first things to do. So be sure to tune in for that. We will be going live about 15 to 30 minutes earlier every stream, at least my stream here. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Be sure, if you're watching this on YouTube and you would like an audio version of it, we have it anywhere you get podcasts. And we are live all the time. Oh, thank you, Goat. I will have fun. Hopefully. I hate the sound comment. I will have fun. But anyway, yeah. So a bunch of the in the background while I'm finishing up, getting ready tomorrow, I'm going to be uploading all the backlog stuff, so you'll have things to watch on YouTube all week. So make sure you go there, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when things go in. And if you haven't yet, please follow the Twitch channel, hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. And if you can, subscribe to us over there. We will be glad to have you. All right, for Goat and Night Duck, it's been fun, and we'll see you in about a week. Bye!